I would rather be on your nightmare blunt rotation than your dream blunt rotation. Let me explain. So it's not that I want to be on your nightmare blunt rotation because, I want people to hate me in some sort of way. That's not the goal. The goal is to, have those outlier traits that people that are, for those few people that are in most people's nightmare blunt rotation, have, that make them super exceptional. Because the biggest names in history, the people that changed history, the people that had the biggest impact on human history, they weren't in the norm. They were not normal in any way, shape, or form. And people who changed history, like the greatest, people who had the biggest impact on other people's lives, people who made the biggest impact, people who had, or just people who had the most success in general, they usually just went against the norm, and they usually just didn't care what other people thought about them. They had their own thing, they had their own dreams and goals, and they didn't care how they would achieve it, and they didn't care along the way who would support them or who wouldn't. It's really that simple. And to those that don't know what these two terms mean, it's kind of been a thing on the internet lately. Dream blunt rotation, nightmare blunt rotation. So basically what that means is, dream blunt rotation is basically like someone, like those people that you'd want to like smoke a blunt with, sit down with, and enjoy their presence. And then as you guessed, the nightmare blunt rotation is the last people on earth you'd want to sit down with, smoke a blunt with, and enjoy their presence, because you can't. And I'd say the vast majority of people are either or in the average person's dream blunt rotation. Very few people are truly in someone's nightmare blunt rotation. And like I said, the whole goal of why I even said that first sentence at the start is not because I want to be hated on purpose or whatever. I want to be disliked like on purpose or intentionally. No, it's because, in life, you only have a certain amount of fucks to give. It's really that simple. You only have a certain amount of fucks to give. I heard that quote somewhere. So, yeah, it's just like in life, you only have a certain amount of fucks to give. And it's really, what are you going to give a fuck about, right? Other people's opinions or chasing your own dreams and goals, no matter what other people have to say. It's really that simple. So, yeah, that's why I'd rather be on your nightmare blunt rotation. I'd rather be on your nightmare blunt rotation than your dream blunt rotation, because we only got one life, we only got one shot at this, and typically the people that are on the average person's nightmare blunt rotation usually exude certain traits that would make someone hyper successful. Confidence, aggression, ability to not give a fuck mindset, not caring what other people think about them, delusional thinking. They have such a crazy aura presence with the fact that they're so successful that people that are like average or don't want to be like as successful or as ambitious as that person, they like either have to try to level up if they want to be in their presence, or their energy or aura is so like overwhelming that like they kind of just have to leave, because they kind of make that person, that those few people that are in someone's nightmare blunt rotation, they usually like, how do I explain this? Like their energy is so overwhelming to the average person that like they don't even want to be like in their presence, because their mindset, they're out of here, dude. They're out of here. Like they're out of this world. Like they're truly exceptional. So, I'd rather be a delusionist than a realist, because being a realist doesn't get you anywhere in life. People who are realistic never really got anywhere far in life. It's the whole, like, I'll give it a little quick example. It's like, I'd rather, okay, let's take person A and person B, right? Person A, or let's assume person A and person B are both put in the same amount of work towards making money over their lifetime, right? The exact same amount. But person A had set the goal of, okay, I want to make $100 million over my lifetime, okay? And then person B did the exact same amount of work as person A over their lifetime, and let's say they lived the exact same amount of years, and instead they shot for the delusional type goal, where I want to make $1 billion over my lifetime. And let's say both of these people end up, let's say the person A that ended up wanted to go for making 100 million over his entire lifetime, he only ended up making 10 million. Okay, so far below what he wanted. But and then we have person B. He shot for, I want to make $1 billion over my lifetime, but he only ended up making 100 million. So both people, they put in the exact same amount of work, and they lived the exact same amount of years and whatnot, had the exact same, let's say they had the exact same life circumstances, but one person had higher expectations, even if it was more delusional for himself than the other person. And so even if both people didn't, even if both person A and person B didn't end up achieving their desired target, person B still got more in the end, just because he was, a little bit more delusional, and delusion is kind of like one of the main traits that people are, the people that are in someone's like nightmare blunt rotation like exude. And yeah, it's really that simple. I'll keep it quick. That's why I want to be on your nightmare blunt rotation, hopefully one day. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.